Hello everyone, and welcome to the Brickformula review of LEGO Set 4439 Heavy Duty Helicopter. On the official LEGO website, it's called the Heavy Lift Helicopter. I think either way is fine. It has 393 pieces for ages 6 to 12. And it's from the City series, and this set retails for $49.99. And I would like to give a shout out to 12 Steeler Boy 17, WW2 Airborne Vids, Brick TV Entertainment, Quick Bricks 288, Chuck Norris Taco, Chocolate Sky 64, LEGO Reviews 721, Custom Sniper 1, and Norris Chukta. They are the subscribers who had requested that I review this set, so everyone check out their channels. And moving forward, here in the front we see the Heavy Lift Helicopter, not doing any heavy lifting. And here on the side we have the minifigures, more on that later. And here in the back we see a lot of the playable features here, and I'll talk about this set in more detail coming up. Here are the minifigures, and this is the only Forest Police set that does not come with any robbers. So we're just going to talk about the cops today, and we'll start with the two pilots because they have the same exact uniform. And there they are. They just have different heads. This guy is wearing some really cool looking shades, although I'll bet he has some really tiny eyeballs behind there. And this guy, we've seen him before. He was in the previous review flying a helicopter, so obviously this guy has some experience flying. So I'm guessing he's the main pilot, and the other guy, well, he's just new. And just to show you guys, right below the life vest, that's what the uniform looks like. Pretty neat, right? And lastly, we have the Forest Policeman, who looks like he's having a really bad day. Either that or he's angrily chewing his bubble gum. Either way, he's not very friendly, but there are his details. Next is the ATV, which is a very straightforward build, and here's the view from the side. And there's the top, and right there we have a printed piece, and this is where we can stick in our angry forest policeman who got the short end of the stick when he asked for a real car. And here's a view from the front, and there's the back. And over on this side we have a compartment that can open up, and that's where you store the flashlight. And over on this side is where you store the handcuffs. And what? No snacks? Well, that's odd. And I'm guessing this thing doesn't go very fast, because if it did, his hat would fly off. And here is the Heavy Lift Helicopter, and as you can see, it's heavily inspired by the Chinook. And here's the view from the side. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that this is a pretty big model, and it is. It's actually 17 inches long and 7 inches tall, so yeah, it's pretty big. But over on this side is where you can play with the inside by lifting up these compartments, but I'll have more on that later. Here's the view from the back, and I really love how they made this loading ramp. And it can open up by that much. But when you close it, you'll notice that there's a small little gap up here, but it's really not that noticeable unless you stare at it too long. But there's the view of the inside, and it's pretty spacious. Here's the other side, and this side cannot open up. And because of that, you'll notice that the window is actually more straight this time around. But this part can open up to load in the other pilot. Here's the view of the front, and I really like how they made the front too. It's pretty smooth down here, for the most part at least. And I think this part over here totally works. And there's the view from the top, and there's the bottom. Now you'll notice that the landing gear kind of swivels a lot, which is okay at first, but if you're playing with this on a smooth surface, you notice that you can move the helicopter a lot and make it go crazy. And now to show you guys the inside, we'll start by loading in the pilots, and you can do that by opening up these two parts right there in the front, which is actually pretty cool looking from the front. They kind of remind me of the DeLorean. But anyway, it's pretty easy to slide in the pilot. You don't have to rip out anything. And we'll just slide them in there, and there we go. Pretty simple. And we can do the same for the other side. Not bad. And there's the view from the front again. And as you can see, they can barely see through the front windshield, but that's okay. And now we can load in the ATV. You can do that by opening up the ramp, and you should open this part too. This way it's a little easier to load them in. And you can just drive right in. And if you look closely, there's a tire right there, and what you do is you slide the bumper of the ATV underneath it, and that's what holds it in place while you're in the air. This way it doesn't fall backwards while you're flying around. Unless of course you don't really like them, then you just drop them off anytime. And then we can close that up. Now the only disappointing thing is that you cannot play with the midsection right there, which is really disappointing because if you look at the instruction book, you actually get about 6 by 6 studs worth of playing space right there, and you have no access to it. As you can see from here, you're actually blocked off by this 2 by 8 brick right there, but if you want, you can always remove that on your own and just fill in the sides with 1x2 bricks. This way you can have access to the whole area back here, and you can fit in more vehicles or put in some troops of your own, which is pretty cool too. So I think you might have some fun modifying it as well. And while we're here, you can take a close look at the front where we have the controls. We have a joystick for each pilot, and we have a cup, which I honestly don't know how you can justify having it there, because I don't think you should fly and drink at the same time, but if that's what keeps you up in the air, then I guess it's okay. But overall, this is a pretty cool model, and now we can move on to the recommendations. Overall, I think this is a really good set, and I totally recommend getting it. When it comes to the value, it's really good too, even though the price per piece ratio is about 12.7 cents a piece, which is about average nowadays anyway. But according to Brinklink, you're actually getting about $64 to $93 worth of parts, depending on if you're going to sell the parts as either used or new, which is really good considering the set retails for 50 bucks. And when it comes to the play value, I think it's great. I just wish that it came with some robbers. This way it would just add some more playabilities to it, because by itself you're just really just flying around. And if you want, you can definitely modify this thing, because as I mentioned earlier, it's really disappointing that you can't play with the inside part of the midsection there. But if you modify it and add some chairs maybe, you can have some fun with this, you know, loading troops and whatever. And you can definitely fit in other vehicles here too, as long as they're not wider than 6 studs and not taller than about 5 bricks. So overall, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. And that's it. That sums up my review. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.